it's not just blood, guts, and gore. It really strikes, and taps into the, humanity, the vulnerable part of society.
I'm very excited to be chatting with Olivier Paris, one of the stars of Scared to Death. Olivier, thank you so much for the time. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Um, I, I've had so much fun with this film. It really is one of those ones that caught me off guard with its humor and its balance with the horror elements as well. But what excited you to step into the world of Scared to Death?
Yeah, I think just having the opportunity to work with Paul Boyd, Bill Moseley, and Lynn Shay was like, yeah, sign me up. I mean, Bill and Lynn are legends. So I just think that was enough to get me hooked. And then also just relating to Jasper, that the internal struggle of being an artist or pursuing something within, the entertainment industry can be tough. So I think I was able to kind of bring my real life personal experience with that hustle and grind to Jasper. So yeah.
Well, I'm glad you said that because that was one of the things that I thought with Jasper was a fairly interesting character, and I was wondering in your mind, what is it you think he's looking for most?
Yeah, I think he wants validation. He wants somebody to say, "Hey, you're good enough. You can do this." I think he's searching for it through Max within the film, but I feel like, she's a tough cookie. She's not really going to give him that. But I feel like having that internal struggle was something that I played with a lot, just searching for validation, looking for somebody to say, "Hey, I see you, I see what you can do." Um, but he never really gets it from where he really wants it. So I feel like I was playing a lot with that internal dialogue with Jasper.
Yeah. I mean, that certainly seems to be a key part of his journey. I was wondering, for you, one of the things I think is so interesting about the film like this is there's this conversation about monsters.
Mm.
And one of the lines specifically says that there's no monsters under the bed, only people are monsters.
Mm.
I was wondering what you thought of that and whether or not that's true.
Yeah, I mean, I think this film definitely speaks about humanity and, people can do horrible things and also in certain situations people can turn,
Mm.
real quick. They can go from happy-go-lucky to sinister and dark real quick. But I think it's also a commentary on the industry. There's people that, you know, they'll use somebody to get what they want. They'll
Mm.
step on the little guy to get up in the world. So I think this film is a commentary also just on the nature of the business in itself.
Yeah, I love that about it. I love that it's sort of there's a conversation going on, not just about the beasts, but the beasts are
Yeah.
embedded within these characters, if you will, or within the industry, like you said, in this play or but in sort of a playful way. It's an interesting
Yeah,
back and
yeah,
forth.
no, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, this film it's a horror film, but it's also a comedy, and I think that's the whole point of it. It uses the two genres together beautifully, and I think it also has, when terrible things are happening around you, a lot of people will use comedy to bring levity to the situation. So I feel like that's why Scared to Death is such an interesting film, is because it blends both of those incredibly well.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Now, I mean, you mentioned before working with Paul Boyd, Lin Shay. Like you said, Lin, especially like Lin's a veteran.
Oh
Um,
yeah. Yeah.
um, what do you take away from working with them? Where, as somebody who's just really, I mean, you've been working for quite a while, but I mean, as
Mm.
still younger in the industry compared to them, they've been veterans.
Yeah, I mean, I was just trying to be a student to them, yeah, I mean they're legends. I mean they've been a part of such iconic horror films. And yeah, I was just basically a student with a notepad. I was trying to soak up everything that they were saying. And I think when you're acting alongside people like that, it really elevates you to want to be great. And I think just yeah, sharing a screen with them really pushed me to up my game. And yeah, I mean, it was challenging, I mean, but that uncomfortability is what it helps you grow as an artist, when I have that dialogue of, oh, am I good enough? Do I belong here? Can I do a scene with Bill? Can I do a scene with Lynn? Like, am I going to be able to match them? So I think it just elevated me as an artist working with them. So yeah, I'm incredibly grateful.
Yeah, absolutely. And horror is such a great genre. For we've already talked a little bit about these metaphors and these conversations going on. Like there's so much, and sometimes I think horror can. I want to be careful how I say this. Horror can get a bad rap where it's just about the scares, but it's
Yeah.
really a place where it's also a place where you can have sort of these deeper, more reflective conversations. And I think that there is that element to Scared to Death. But what is it about horror in your mind that opens up the floor for these conversations about more things like you said, the darkness of the industry and the monsters of humanity?
Yeah. The beautiful thing about horror film is, yeah, a lot of people think it's just like blood and guts and gore and all that. But I think horror is a combination of, it almost feels like it's a combination of every genre. I mean, there's drama, there's comedy, there's thrills, there's suspense. I mean, horror is such an umbrella genre, it's not just, oh, it's scary. Yeah, yeah. It's so much more than that. And I feel like, when you, within horror, usually it has high stakes and intense emotions, and I feel like when you tap into those intense emotions, it opens up the door for those deeper conversations to happen. Because it's almost like you're open and vulnerable from the get-go. And I feel like that's why horror really gets to the heart and root of like the soul, is because yeah, it kind of just gets right into it, yeah, in an intense way.
Are there any particular horror movies that for you were really connect with on a deeper level?
Yeah, I mean, one horror movie that really stuck with me was Audition. It's that's Takashi Miike. That was an incredible film that really stuck with me because it's just so unsettling and uncomfortable. And I feel like it life is uncomfortable, and it can shine a light on things that maybe you don't want a light shined on.
Mm,
And I feel like, especially in today's world, a lot of people are emotionally suppressed and maybe feel they don't feel like they can express how they feel. So I feel like that's just a great horror movie. It's unsettling. And I wouldn't say maybe like I relate to it, but I just feel like that's what horror does. It's
mm.
unsettling and shines a light on things that are suppressed. And I feel like it's good to be open and let things out. In life, not like in a gory way, or like, yeah, oh yeah, go murder a bunch of people, but just in terms of just like yourself, be true to yourself and be open and vulnerable. But yeah, that's a film that really stuck with me. um yeah, I would say that. And then there's another film that I said in previous interviews called The Elephant Man, and I wouldn't say that's a horror movie, but some people think it could be. I think it could be interpreted as a horror movie because it's such a it just really shines such a sad light on humanity and how far we can fall. It's basically about this guy that he had a horrible disease, and people they looked at him like he was a monster. And it's like that's a real person. So yeah,
Well,
that's
that's
one.
that's a very classic horror trope as well. Like Elephant Man is horror the way that Hunchback is horror, and
Exactly.
there is an element of horror there for sure because it's not. I mean, these like you said, these movies they leave you open, but
Mhm.
they also sort of expose. Like there's something about fear that exposes the deepest parts of who we are, and
Yeah,
I
it's
think
raw. Yeah. You
yeah.
can't hide. You can't hide from it. I mean, that's the thing. It's basically like somebody's taking off your armor. You're totally
Mm.
vulnerable and naked for everybody to see, which is tough. And I think also that's why it's interesting, is because usually when somebody's vulnerable, it's going to push them to do things
Mm.
that maybe they wouldn't do, like if they were, you know what I'm saying? It almost it forces your hand in certain situations, and I think that's where like the whole point of like, somebody could be happy-go-lucky and then they can turn into a monster real quick, which, not spoiling anything, but within Scared to Death, I mean, there is that line, that moral line of is this right or wrong that gets crossed a lot. So yeah,
Yeah, there's very much a conversation here, not just about the monster, but what makes the monster,
exactly.
with these
Yeah.
characters as well. And again, it's funny, like, this film is very funny. Like it is a horror comedy.
Mhm.
But it does have a lot underneath. Like it really does.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you this too. I know we're running out of time, but this one of the lines says that I think you only see ghosts if you believe in them. I was wondering what you think about a line like that. I'm not asking you necessarily, do you believe in ghosts? But I mean, this
Yeah.
idea of seeing these things because you believe in them.
Yeah, I think it's just the brain is it's a powerful thing, I think it maybe taps into a little bit of like manifestation in a way
Mm.
of like, if you think it and see it, or if you feel it and think it in your heart and your brain, like it'll materialize in real life. And I think it also speaks into the supernatural, like is it there because you are open and see it, or is it not there because you're closed off, so I think that it kind of speaks onto that, like, if you're closed minded, you might miss a lot of things in life, whereas if you're open minded, it might expose the real truth of the world, so
Yeah. Yeah, I hear what you're
yeah.
saying. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, honestly, Olivier, the film is a lot of fun. It is
Thank
it
you.
is funny. It has what everything that you want in terms of the monsters, if you will. And it has something to say. But what do you hope audiences take away from Scared to Death?
Yeah, I think the beautiful thing about this movie is that I think it speaks to a large audience. It's not just blood, guts, and gore. It really strikes, and taps into the humanity, the vulnerable part of society. And I don't know. I just hope people leave it feeling, being kind to your neighbor, not judging too hard on what people do in certain situations. But also seeing too, again, Jasper, he's a totally different person by the end of the film.
Yeah.
And no matter how he goes about achieving what he wants, he does achieve what he was searching for in some way, whether it was good or bad. So I think also just realizing that, if you work hard and put your mind to something, you can do it. Uh, just don't, do it more morally right, maybe is a better way to do it. But, yeah.
I have to say I love how you're making these great points, and then it's just like, just to be clear,
Yeah, yeah, be very
don't
clear.
be a monster, all right? Don't be a
Yeah,
monster. Honestly,
yeah,
Olivier, it's great to chat with you. Thank you so much for your time.
yeah,
I
thank
know
you.
that Scared to Death is on VOD,
Yes,
and I appreciate. I wish you the best. Have a great day.
thank you. Yeah, appreciate your time.
Thank you so much, Olivia. Thanks so much. Bye bye.